This session, hi Swifties, this session we are doing some stretching. So the main thing that we're working through with this stretching is I want everybody to start to understand the different lines that run through the body. And I'm going to be sending out PDFs that you'll be able to see that exactly illustrate the different lines that run through the body. But quickly, we've got our front line, our posterior back line, we've got spiral lines which circle around the body, and we've got our lateral lines that run down the side of our body. Now what happens if you have a particular posture or get a particular tightness, not only one aspect of that line is affected, the whole line of that myofascia, so think of it as a big elastic band, will be affected. So if you've got a posture that stands more like this, you can see that my whole front line elastic band, if I put a band, is the tighter, and my posterior back line is going to be the looser. Whereas if I strengthen through that elastic band that runs from here all the way through down and to the underneath my feet to the toes, if I strengthen through that to pull that back and I stretch out my front line, I'm going to get my posture back. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do the salute to the sun, which we do, and yes, it's a yoga movement. And what I'm going to do is at each phase I'm going to call out whether it's stretching posterior back line or your front line, okay? And I just want you to get an understanding of where you need to then be stretching through. If you're tight through your front line, or you might be tight through your back line and sit more back like this, where your back line's really tight and your front line needs to be stretched out. Okay, so we start off, we go up, stretch right through. You can't see my fingers, but they're stretching all the way up, and my hands are looking up at my fingers. We're coming down, chin is tucked under, we're stretching through our back line. From here, I want to take my left foot back, and I want to I'm going to turn side on to this one, I want to press that ankle down into the ground. So I'm stretching through that whole front line, hand is following my hand up, and I'm stretching through my front line. From here, we're going to come down, and we're going to go down, and we're going to stretch through front line again. Once again, ankles are pushing down to the ground, head's gently coming up. Toes are going underneath. We're pushing back into our heels. Chin's tucking in, looking towards the feet, and we're stretching through our back line. From here, I'm going to come forward with my left foot, and then I'm going to come up, and I'm stretching through the right side front line with my arms, with my eyes going towards my fingers. And then from here, I'm coming up, stretching through back line, chin's tucking under, coming up, looking up at my hands, stretching through front line. Okay, so that's a stretch that we do when we first come in, but what I don't want to see is people just hands hanging up in the air, because when you stretch through that line, you need to be stretched through nice and tight, so that whole elastic band from one end to the other is stretching through and out. And remember, we don't want to push the stretch into an uncomfortable position. We just want to feel that line of resistance and then move on through. Okay, make sure you're doing lots of breathing while you're doing it. And that's one of our first introductions to getting a good front line stretch and getting a good back line stretch as well. And I'll go through some more.